hey, if finding the right people in the right organizations with the email address is important to you, then we made a huge update for you. So what did we do? We added more than 1 million decision makers in pharma, biotech, health tech, and so on. With decision makers, I don't mean C-level people from manager and higher, but even certain senior individual contributors. We didn't just add those people. If we look at the example of Eli Lilly, 1,600 people, we used AI to classify them based on seniority, and you can immediately see how many people with certain seniority. There we use certain kind of functions, sort of organizations, and BDNL, clinical development, commercials, and so on. We specifically chose the people that we think is important to our customer. We didn't add people in a technician role. We didn't add people in a sales or marketing role in pharma companies, for example. So we think it's the ones that are important. If you notice certain are lacking, let us know. Preclinical development and so on. Research and discovery. And then you have functional areas, which is a team within those functions. So you have CMC regulatory, data science analytics, and so on. So if I would say, if I pick, for example, pharmacovigilance, I can now see the function areas, and I could filter by any of those. If I do general, I can see what are the function titles, so they're also cleaned up a little bit to help you figure out what are the function titles amongst them. So we can immediately see here the people then with those roles. We see the bio, and we can get the email address if we click yes, and always the LinkedIn profile as well. So that is one approach. I can also just search by name or CMC, for example, and then search through the titles and the abouts to find all 29 people mentioning CMC in their function title or about. Again, to get the email address. And also find the people here via contacts, where you can do a search. And then it not only finds those business contacts, it also finds the researchers. So sometimes it finds some extra people. And now within contacts, which was called researchers before, we now have an extra filter set where you can again filter by functions and so on, with the option to exclude functions, include functions, etc. So in that way, we can easily get to the highest people and understand their activities. You will also see their involvement, so you can see a function within Lilly Ventures, for example, that overall had Eli Lilly. So that is one approach within a big company. So let's say I'm looking into companies, for example, in the UK, therapeutic biotech companies, and in modalities, I filter for biologics. That's something new. For every filter, we now have include and exclude options. So companies in biologics, but not doing anything in small molecules. 193 companies in the UK. I can now with export context, which was there before, but we have this whole new thing here. Here, you can immediately see 987 contacts. We cap at 50 per company. Typically, no more is needed. We can see here, again, the functions. You could say only pick the CEOs, so that's 39 CEOs, and so on. The chief scientific officer, whatever we need. We can just say overall, corporate, general management, and so on, or seniority, the C-suites. If we do that, it automatically calculates how many there are. Could also check CMC, for example, and remove the C-suite. That would make sense. So 31. I can say include deliverable emails and hit download. And then in 1 minute, it's more or less generates the emails via a 4-step waterfall system we have built ourselves. That works much better than commercial solutions. So that's if you want to gather the right contacts, not just any leadership person, but the right people with the right function that are relevant to you with immediately email addresses across a large set of documents. So the last one is if you search in researchers. So if you search for CMC, we pick anything from manager upwards, but not the absolute highest ones. So up to MVP. We go for smaller companies. So let's say estimated number of employees. Green. Say those range, not the absolute smallest one. They would be too small, for example. Pick the UK. That's 130 researchers. I can now hit export. So we can already see here the titles. That's also new. We also, and the company, we can also use the filtering here with the context to already filter by specific type of function titles, functional areas, and overall functions. If I hit export, I can say include deliverable emails, and then in 1 minute, I got this file. I did it 2 days ago, so there were a few less researchers. You see the names, affiliation, and then most importantly, the new things. We see the seniority, the function. You see the function title exactly as it is, the functional area, and then we get email addresses. I don't want to share them here, that wouldn't be fair. But here we get also an understanding of the deliverability. So as you can see, probably 7, 8 out of 10, we found a deliverable email address. It says 7 out of 10 average. We can also see where we found it for Internet Web via our email patterns we identified for other organizations, and so on. We also have some context on the emails. We have a recommendation. If you would send it, should send it, or maybe exclude it, and then a biography coming from LinkedIn. So in that way, you can just find the right companies, find the right contacts in those companies, or just find any contact based on certain criteria and export them to get the contact details and reach out. I hope this helps. We noticed a lot of interest in this capability, those that gave us feedback on building it. So I hope it helps you as well. And if there's things you'd like to see added, please let us know. Happy to look into it. All right. Hope this helps and take care.